Hey everybody, Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard here. Let's talk American Ultra. So, the very first thing I want to start out with, this is very important. Through a lot of training and a lot of hard work, it is my proud honor to finally say Kristen Stewart can close her mouth. Woo!
Walking on sunshine. Whoa, I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa, I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa, it's gonna feel good. All right now, it's gonna feel good. Yeah. I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa, I'm walking on sunshine. I'm walking on sunshine. It's gonna feel good.
Yeah. So, American Ultra is not based on any books or comics or really anything that I could find in my basic research. I could be wrong, as far as I know. It's original, which is awesome, but also sad that that's an awesome thing you got to bring up about movies now. But anyway, so yeah, it's an original idea, and it was brought to us by the director of Project X, whose name is entirely unpronounceable, so I'll just call him Mr. Director Face. And Mr. Director Face did a really, really good job on this movie. So as you might surmise from the trailer for this movie, Jesse Eisenberg plays a stoner in West Virginia who is actually a sleeper agent trained by the CIA and all his wacky adventures. Basically, that's the plot of this movie, without going into spoiler territory, which I'll do later. Let's talk about the characters. I should hate this movie. It has everyone I hate except Jesse Eisenberg, and he always just seems to really just play himself, which I like that character though. So he was good, but he was very good, and I liked what he did. I hate Kristen Stewart so much, and it's not just Twilight, Adventureland, Huntsman. She's bad. She was, but she did a really good job in this movie for once, surprisingly enough. And I think it's I have a theory that she actually is a real life like hardcore stoner, and she basically just played herself in this movie, and so that worked out. She actually did a really good job. She wasn't annoying at all. She was very enjoyable. Not Oscar worthy or anything, but well done. And then Topher is terrible, but you're not supposed to like him in this movie. He plays the villain, and that works out perfectly. So Mr. Director Face really got everyone in really good, correct roles that they really needed to be in, and it worked out well. The tone of this movie is very weird, but it actually works out for its benefit. It's like a mix of an indie comedy, an action movie, sci-fi fantasy, and a spy thriller, like all kind of jammed into one. And it jumps really hard between these tones, and it's funny, but it's also takes itself very seriously. It's incredibly violent. Good lord. And it seems like a lot of the effects were physical effects, which was well done. If they weren't, they did a good job with the CGI where I couldn't tell. But yeah, incredibly violent movie. The action scenes were really well done. It wasn't as funny as I thought it would be, but it didn't harm it that it wasn't. It balanced everything very well. John Leguizamo makes a quick cameo, and I thought when he showed up, like, oh, he's gonna be the annoying, side character. He's gonna be the comic relief that's always gonna be doing something wacky, and they didn't do that with him. He he filled his part well, and it was done very well. So that was cool. A very self-contained movie. There's doesn't really seem to be any sequel bait for it. I guess they could stretch to be sequel if it is really big, but I don't think they're going to end up doing that. The cameo from Buster Bluth, and he does a good job, and I don't care what the actor's name is because he's Buster. Sorry. And yeah, it's a very enjoyable action movie. And it's kind of cool that Jesse Eisenberg's been really jumping around between lots of different movies. You know, hardcore dramas like Social Network, comedies like Zombieland. You know, this one's his action movie. Not sure what else he's done. I'm not blanking on that. Anyways, he's jumping around a lot of different movies, and I like that. He's really showing a good range. Even though he does seem to always be playing himself. So I'm really curious what he's going to do with Lex Luthor next year. And so yeah. I guess I'm going to get into a little bit of spoiler territory now. So stop now for spoilers. Or let's say click on my face. Click on my face. And that'll take you to my wrap up. Moving on. The really cool thing that I liked with Kristen Stewart's character is she first started out as just the girlfriend, and this movie plays with your expectations that she's just going to kind of be the screaming girlfriend that kind of comes along with the whole thing. But then it turns out she's actually the handler that knew that he was a sleeper agent, and so she actually knew what was going on. And although she did get kidnapped, and the big thing was her getting saved. It didn't do any cheap moves by making her, the screaming girlfriend coming along with him, and I like that. And like I said earlier with John Leguizamo, he thought he was going to be the comic relief little sidekick, and they end up killing him off pretty quickly. And it's cool. I mean, it's, again, playing with your expectations. You don't see that coming. Topher being a giant asshole, it was pretty interesting. He's always an asshole, if you ask me. And so that's a thing. And it's kind of cool they don't go into his past that much. That he's a sleeper agent, but it's just always just brought up as he was an experiment that succeeded, but then they dropped the program, so they wiped his memory. That's basically all that you get for his past. You don't know what this experiment was, if he was just trained really well, or what happened there. And that's kind of cool. It leaves you in this kind of cool mystery. And the interaction between him and Kristen Stewart is actually very well done. They really balance each other well, and they seem like a couple when they're together. It's really, really cool. So for my wrap up, this is kind of a shorter video because I have nothing to really compare this to with, as my other movies being sequels or comics or whatever. So, so I can just talk about the movie itself, and I don't want to give too much away. I want you to go out and enjoy it. And I do suggest you go see this movie. We're in the second dumping ground of the year where they like to throw garbage movies. January, February is a great one where they throw terrible movies that they know probably won't make money. And this is the end of the summer garbage run, August, September, and even the beginning of October. It's kind of, they're just going to throw garbage movies because no one's really going to movies. And so if you really want to go out and see one, I think this is a really good one to check out. If I were to rate it, on a scale between Jesse Eisenberg's hair in the Dawn of Justice trailer and his hair in Zombieland, I would say this movie is his hair in Adventureland. So that's my rating for this movie. But for sure, check it out. Definitely see this at least once in your life. It's a very enjoyable movie. So, and yeah, like I said, Kristen Stewart, surprisingly not annoying. Well done, Mr. Director Face. Well done.